different one, either human kids evolving to possess squid-like abilities, or squids evolving to live on land like kids. And when you look at the problem from this angle, this is the deciding factor. Like I mentioned earlier, evolution takes a really long time. It involves slow Darwinian selection, little tiny survival advantages happening over thousands of generations. Unless, of course, it doesn't. Unless you happen to be one of the very few species that has the ability to forget Darwin altogether and evolve at your own pace. And as much as I wish as a kid I could have just decided to grow a third arm or something, we humans have to give it up to our new 8-legged overlords on this one. It is squids who have the power to change into kids. The way they do this has to do with genes, but not DNA, the molecule that we all associate with our genes, but instead RNA, ribonucleic acid, the red-headed stepchild of the nucleic acid family. While DNA is basically the blueprint to your body, RNA is what takes it from a blueprint to the real thing. Basically, what you need to know is that RNA takes little sections of your genes from the nucleus, where DNA lives all on its own because it's too cool for all the other cellular molecules, and brings it out to the rest of the cell so it can join the party and be translated into real things, like proteins that do everything for your body, from creating brain cells to healing your paper cuts. Without RNA, DNA is nothing. So kids have RNA, but squids also have RNA, so what's the big deal? Well, in humans, when our DNA gets copied, there's a lot of junk in it. A big section gets copied onto a strand of RNA, but there are these chunks in the middle that your body doesn't need. Before your body can make anything useful with the RNA, those chunks need to be cut out in what's called the spliceosome complex of the cell. Well, the biology of all this gets a lot more complex than I want to go into here. The thing to remember is that in humans, this RNA splicing system is one of the things that helps keep us stable. We have a lot of parts and a lot of systems that we have to keep running, so you want to make sure that when cells are making things, they're making the same things the same way every time. The splicing system is like a safety net to make sure that the RNA gets translated correctly every single replication. It's stable, which is awesome. But another word for something that's stable is something that doesn't evolve. Humans are humans, and we're stuck as humans. The chances of us having some bizarre new species-changing evolution are incredibly slim. But squids, on the other hand, are playing by a completely different set of genetic rules. Just this year, in fact, just a couple weeks ago, as we researched this episode, scientists discovered that cephalopods don't follow the normal patterns of protein building with RNA, at least not as strictly as we do. Instead of splicing their RNA, they do something called RNA editing, where instead of cutting out information with spliceosomes, they actually directly edit the information that the RNA carries. No need for a splicey middleman here. This may seem like a small difference, but it completely changes the way cephalopods live, breed, and most importantly, evolve. Most life on our planet hasn't done all that well with RNA editing because, guess what? It results in too much evolution, and it's actually been eliminated by most species through natural selection. But RNA editing has some amazing advantages for our squid friends. Cephalopods are able to quickly adapt to extreme changes in their environments, sometimes without having to go through natural selection at all. Their bodies just go, oh, we need to be able to live in the Arctic? All right, just make these proteins instead of these other proteins and we are good to go. Normally, these kinds of changes would have to be slowly passed down through generation after generation, but RNA editing allows cephalopods like squids to completely skip all that noise. It also puts them as one of the only species to be able to make rapid enough adaptations that you would need to survive a post-apocalyptic world in just a few generations rather than millions of years. Sad as it